Hello, Carl. How are you doing?
Good morning, Jody. I feel like we're cheating on Stephanie.
I know, right?
We are.
We are.
Yeah.
You should see
It's
this.
her birthday.
This with the guest lineup. It said Travis crosses out the Stephanie Miller part and just says the Jody Hamilton show.
Yeah.
So, and we are going to figure out how to do a graphic the next time I do this. It just says Eve Harrington over my face at all times because that is who I am. I'm the Eve Harrington to her Margot.
I still have never seen that movie.
Oh, you should see it. It's
I
fantastic.
know. I heard it's fantastic, but I haven't.
It's one of my favorite films.
Well, apparently.
Or you can watch Showgirls, the modern day remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, because that's so much better. Nice. So, Carl, we've been having some interesting talks with people about the debt ceiling, and there's an argument to be had that the debt ceiling is not even a part of the Constitution, therefore it's unconstitutional based on the 14th Amendment, and that the United States must pay its debts off. It's not that clearly written. It's slightly more weird. But basically, some people are now, like they did in 2011 and in 2013, and even during Clinton, said, call it the case in case of emergency break glass option. The president invokes the 14th Amendment to ignore the debt limit and continue to borrow if lawmakers can't agree. And then have people have the GOP sue him over it. Right. What do you think? Do you think that's a good argument?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I don't even call it the debt ceiling anymore. I call it paying our friggin' bills.
Yeah.
There you go.
For people, anytime we talk about this, we need to remind people that the debt ceiling right now is a conversation over whether or not we are going to pay for the things Republicans spent during the Trump administration.
Right.
We don't have a choice over it. This is the game they play to try and keep Democrats from pursuing their agenda every time we get in power.
Right. Yeah, we should first off overturn that law as soon as possible because it's stupid. It apparently, I think that because Obama almost did that, but his lawyers were saying no, don't do it because it's iffy in the language because Article 1 has the power of the purse. But now Lawrence Tribe has come around going, do it. What's the worst thing we can have? And who knows? Right. The Supreme Court might hold it up. I don't know. They might hold up Joe Biden on this. I don't know. But I say go for it, and then once it gets to the Supreme Court, then you've decided, but hopefully by that point other things have happened, Right.
Well, and it'd be nice to not have to talk about this every year.
Yeah. And Democrats always raise it for Republicans when they're in power.
Yeah.
So I don't see because they are the adults in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. Every time the government is closed in my lifetime, which basically was 1994 was the first, or 95
right.
Yep.
was the first time with the Republicans taking back Congress after the first time in 50 years. And then I believe once under Bush and once under Trump, and now we're teetering on the brink again. It has been Republicans unwilling to pay our bills. This is what they do. They run up a massive debt by cutting taxes on the extremely wealthy, on corporations that don't need tax cuts, on people that don't need tax cuts, and then they don't want to pay for it.
Right.
They pursue wars off the books, and they don't want to pay for it.
Right.
We've got to pay for this. You want to know what fiscal conservatism is? It's paying your bills.
Exactly.
Yes.
And because we're no longer in Afghanistan, we're saving how many millions of dollars a day? Several hundred million a day. Yeah. We're saving billions a month for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hi guys, there's money that we're not spending right now.
Right.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
But wasn't that already allocated to the defense budget?
Right. And that's the other thing. They don't have a problem with the defense budget being a gazillion dollars, but the defense industry is very smart because they have in every district in every state, there is some defense contractor.
They've got some money. Well, and they give tons of money and everything else. But again, look, this is a conversation over them trying to exert leverage in the conversation around whether or not we are going to build back better, whether or not we are going to do right by the American people and invest in them for a change.
Yeah.
And this is them attempting to use leverage. Well, if the shoe were on the other foot, I have zero doubts that they would just pursue it through the presidency.
I agree. And the idea of the new spending bill that's coming out potentially. Hold on. I got it. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so the continuing resolution has passed. So we are going to be funding things at least through December 3rd without raising the debt ceiling. But the Republicans are pushing to include money for the Iron Dome in the next spending bill, even though money for the Iron Dome is already in the defense budget bill. My view is, okay, we'll pass that bill if I'm a Democrat, but let's include revoking the debt ceiling or raising the debt ceiling. You don't get your Iron Dome in two bills.
Right.
Or the debt ceiling has to be part of it, because then they have to have the showdown on, do we really want
to bring them to the table? Do what it takes to bring them to the table so they will grow up and be adults about this.
Yeah.
This is money they spent.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that Joe Biden has spent was COVID relief. That's it. That's a minuscule amount of money compared to the $7 trillion that Donald Trump's and the Republicans spent over just a 4-year period. $7 trillion. That's an insane amount of money.
Well, it's an insane transfer of wealth.
Yeah. From
the broad base of American taxpayers to people, many of which don't pay their fair share in taxes.
Right.
And that's what this entire game that's happening in Washington right now is all about. It's about having corporations pay their fair share. It's about having the extremely wealthy people who make over $400,000 a year pay at least a little bit more, a little bit closer to their fair share, so that we can invest in the American people, so that we can invest in fighting the climate crisis.
Right.
There are so many meaningful investments that are made in this plan. And this is what it looks like to encounter a legislature where one party is never willing to do business when there's a Democrat in the White House.
Yeah, it is. And I blame Newt Gingrich starting all of that, by the way.
Yeah.
I just do. And your thoughts on Kyrsten Sinema? Yeah, exactly.
What is up with her?
I mean,
nobody knows.
I know. Yeah.
Why don't just tell somebody what it is that it will take for you to vote for something?
Yeah.
Tell somebody. They might do it.
Yeah. They might go, oh, okay. Pelosi is not going to have the vote today, obviously, because she literally said the Senate has tied my hands on this. I can't move forward until they do. So therefore, I can't have a vote, because she won't have the votes today. I doubt, and Bernie Sanders gave her some cover on that. He goes, why this arbitrary deadline?
Right.
As long as it's done before the end of this year, because the child tax credit expires at the end of the year.
Right.
I think we'll be okay. And I think that I do think that, because Joe Biden met with Sinema again yesterday, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Although I would say, one thing I would disagree with Bernie on, by the end of the year, the longer this takes, the harder it's going to get.
I agree, but it has to be done by the end of the year because of the child tax credit.
Right.
And obviously we have that little pesky voting rights that we need to also pass, which is equally important to me. I mean, I hope that Biden's talking to Sinema and Manchin about that as well, and the filibuster reform that needs to happen. Because if we got,
it would be nice to see, if Sinema is not just an obstructionist, tell us what you want.
Right.
Tell us what you want. Don't just stand there in opposition. If you're not an obstructionist, if you're not just doing this to placate your billion-dollar donors and the corporations that are lining the pockets of your campaign committee, then tell the leadership of the Democratic Party what you want